pleasant evening and a warm welcome to the national news live on ChannelEye. I'm Dilanjali Ananda.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi. And let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. The Presidential Buddhist Advisory Council says that further discussions will have to be conducted prior to the registration of new religious places. The need for all to act with responsibility to eliminate COVID-19 from the country has been reiterated. 4 suspects connected to the killing of a police constable have been detained till the 4th of next month. Preliminary rounds of the Ru Kirula 2022 ends. Al Tourist Resort is filled with foreign tourists. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. The Mahasangha of the Presidential Buddhist Advisory Council says it is more appropriate to conduct further discussions before arriving at a predominant discussion regarding registration of new religious places. This has been disclosed when the Buddhist Advisory Council met for the 13th occasion at the President's office yesterday. Attention has been focused in depth at the meeting on issues such as establishment and maintenance of new religious places, maintenance of Sunday Dhamma schools, Vihara Deval Act and surveying of lands belonging to the Department of Archaeology in North and East and revision of the Archaeology Ordinance. Another factor that has come under scrutiny that when registering new religious places, attention should be focused on measures to be followed with regard to each and every religion on an individual basis. Special attention has been focused in the registration of Buddhist Vihara. It has been pointed out that allow permission for registration based on the recommendations of the Mahanayaka Theras of the respective Nikayas and the Registrar of the Pradeshya Sasanarakshaka Balamandale. The Mahasangha has further stated that when registering viharas in lands of archaeological importance, it should be carried out according to the recommendations and supervision of the Department of Archaeology. Decisions taken so far pertaining to the amendment of the Archaeological Ordinance have also been evaluated. Commissioner General of Archaeology Anura Manathunga said that the new archaeological draft bill could be presented to Parliament within the next few months. 484 requests have been received for surveying of archaeological lands in the eastern province. Surveying in 64 such lands have been completed. Surveyor General R. Ratnadisanayaka says that deeds are being processed with regard to 22 such locations. State Minister Vidura Vikramanayaka, President Secretary Gamini Senarath, President's Chief Advisor Lalit Veeratunga, Ministry Secretaries and other government officials were also present at this occasion.
The health divisions say that the spread of the COVID-19 disease should not be taken lightly and urges on the need to act according to health guidelines. It also reiterates that the general public should not be deceived by false propaganda and it is imperative to receive the relevant doses of the vaccine. The Department of Government Information says that 1,273 COVID-19 afflicted patients have been identified in the country today. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 20 COVID-19 related deaths which have occurred yesterday. 17 of the fatalities were of the age of 60 years and above. 2 of the victims were between the ages of 30 and 59 years. A total of 37,273,368 vaccine doses have been inoculated to the people in the country under the COVID-19 immunization program. Accordingly, 16,836,546 persons have received the first dose of the vaccine, while 14,063,861 have received both the doses. A total of 6,372,961 have received both the booster dose thus far. Minister of Health Dr. Kehelia Ramkwala says that as a result of the success of vaccination program in the country, it has been able to control the disease to an extremely conducive level. The minister has made these remarks at a discussion with the New Zealand High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Michael Appleton, at the Health Ministry yesterday. The minister has further stated that under such circumstances, it has been possible to minimize the threats to the lives of people and also the curtail them and to a minimum level of the admission of the COVID-infected person to hospitals. He has also extended gratitude to the health staff who have voluntarily extended their commitments beyond their regular duties in order to normalize the situation. He has also thanked New Zealand for the cooperation extended in this regard. The High Commissioner of New Zealand in Sri Lanka said that they are satisfied with the decisions with the success of Sri Lanka's COVID-19 control and vaccination programs. Discussions have also been conducted on how the two countries face the pandemic and how they have reacted. Attention has also been focused on how Sri Lanka and New Zealand should act in the recurrence of such disasters in future.
And meanwhile, Director of the Lady Ridgeway Hospital, Colombo, Dr. G. Vijaysurya says that there are strikingly similar disease symptoms between the prevailing COVID-19 and the dengue diseases. He adds that therefore it is extremely important to distinguish separately the disease characteristics of the two types of diseases.
In these days, actually, daily there are about 20 to 30 patients are reporting for the COVID patient. But only problem is in the children. Sometimes we can't differentiate this disease, what it is. Sometimes that viral fever and dengue fever as well as COVID. In the all three conditions having the same illness. All three conditions we can see the fever, headache, body ache and sometimes vomiting. So that if your children having that some kind of fever, headache, vomiting, throat pain and cough, please bring to the hospital and get the medical advice. And otherwise that we don't know that whether COVID or sometimes maybe a dengue. So that we are advised to all parents, if your child having these sort of symptoms, please bring to the hospital. In the same time, if your child had a fever 2 weeks back, the child is below 18 years, that there may be sometime mid-C in the condition. That children who are below 18 years, the child having COVID later on within the 2 weeks can have a mid-C. That the features of the mid-C is that red eye, red patches in the face and vomiting and fever. If a child having these sort of symptoms, please bring to the hospital and get the medical advice. Otherwise that will be worse if you are not considered about that, if you are not taking the medical advice, most probably these children has to be admitted and get the treatment in the hospitals.
The second interim report of the Presidential Investigation Commission pertaining to the evaluation of decisions and further action of the Pre-Commission of Human Rights was handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday. It was presented to the President at President's office by the Judge of the Supreme Court, AHMD Nawaz. The President has appointed the Commission on the 21st of January 2021 for the inquiry of information, investigation and reporting, as well as for taking necessary measures unveiled by the Commission or the committees. These commissions and committees have been entrusted with the task of investigating of charges on breaching of human rights and international human rights law, as well as to look into the serious offences. The Commission, headed by the Supreme Court Judge AHMD Nawaz, had presented the preliminary report to the President on the 21st of July last year. In the completion of the 107-page second report, recommendations have been raised based on evidence provided by 75 residents in Jaffna and Kilinochchi districts on their experience in facing the war. It has also been recommended to immediately inquire into the facts disclosed to the Paranagama Commission in 2015 and to file court action on provide compensation. It has also been reported that those who testified before the Commission have stated that government's assistance is needed for them to become economically independent. The Commission has also recommended that there is no room to commemorate terrorists but grant the right to privately remember any relative killed during the war period. The final report is scheduled to be handed over to the President by June of this year. President Secretary Gamini Sanrath was also present at this occasion. A book titled Sinhala Govithana, reprinted by Venerable Professor Induragare Dhammaratana was handed over to the President at the President's office yesterday. The book was written by Venerable Pandita Bada Uyangoda Vimalakirti Thera in the year 1951. The book provides information on farming methods and equipment being used to reap a bountiful harvest. Venerable Induragare Dhammaratana said that the book has been reprinted with the intention of reviving local farming to have food without poisonous substances. The Mahasangha, comprising of Anunayak of the Sri Lanka Ramaja Mahanikaya, Venerable Walbuddha Gunasiri Thera. And meanwhile, a group of university lecturers and students have presented their written and oral opinions to the Presidential Task Force on One Country, One Law at the Bandaranaike Conference Hall today. The Presidential Task Force has commenced receiving opinions from the Northern Province. So far, opinions and suggestions have been received from a broad section of the general public in several parts of the country.
Attorney at Law Chaminda Kularatna has been appointed as the Additional Secretary to the President. He is also functioning as the Secretary to the Chief Government Whip in Parliament. Mr. Chaminda Kularatne has earlier functioned as Additional Secretary to the Prime Minister. He is a past pupil of Rajasingha Central College in Ruanwala and also a postgraduate in Business Management and Administration at the University of Buckinghamshire in the United Kingdom, as well as a graduate of the Columbia University. Mr. Kularatne also held the posts of Additional Secretary to President, Senior Assistant Secretary to the President, Additional Secretary to the Leader of the Opposition and Ministerial Advisor at the Office of the Sri Lanka High Commission in the United Kingdom. He is also the first South Asian citizen to be elected to the post of Vice Chairman of the Association of Embassy Officials. This is an association with the history of more than 120 years, comprising of consular offices in the City of London.
A group of ministers headed by Minister Rohit Gunawardena have visited the location to inspect removal of debris of the Express Pearl ship which sank in the Sri Lankan Sea territory. The ship had caught fire on the 20th of May last year. The burning ship in the vicinity of the Colombo harbour had contained several containers of chemicals. The exposure of such chemicals has caused a severe threat of large-scale environmental pollution. In order to prevent the occurrence of such a situation, the ship was brought towards the sea. 2 ships of the Shanghai Salves team had been utilised for the withdrawal of the ill-fated ship. In addition, 63 stands has been used to hoist the ship. Minister Rohit Gunawardena further said that 90% of the ship debris have been removed. Minister Rohit Gunawardena said that it is a sunken ship in the sea. If there is any more damage to the Sri Lankan environment or the fishing community as a result of the sea pollution, they are prepared to remove the shipwreck. Minister Ali Sabri said that Sri Lanka has already received compensation amounting to 1 billion rupees. However, this is only a nominal sum. He added that they are engaged in a long-term discussion to receive further compensation. All diesel oil residuals have been removed. The minister further said that a separate committee is taking place to prevent the recurrence of such an incident in future and to receive legal allocations. Meanwhile, the preliminary round competitions of the National Television Rukirula 2022 contest have taken place at the Rajitha studio of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation premises today. Beauty contestants from many locations in the island have taken part in the event. Contestants are being selected by a veteran panel of judges. The panel is comprised of Director of the Designing of National and International Beauty Queen Competitions, Launching Wong, veteran dancing artist Dr. Chana Vijayawardena, actresses Udari Pereira and Sandhani Fernando, and veteran beautician Samantha Gunasera. In parallel to this event, sub-competitions are being conducted on skin, hair, dental and eye beauties as well. 125 beauty contestants have been selected for the next round at today's preliminary contest. The final round will include 10 beauty contestants. Prizes were handed over to the selected contestant today by a group including Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Sonala Gunawardena, the official print media sponsor, the Navaliya newspaper. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Sonala Gunawardena, said that the Avrudha Kumari concept has already become a feature of our culture. He added that Sri Lankan female youth who became victorious do have the opportunities to find high positions in the world of arts, in the announcing or in the media sector.
Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation was instrumental in various television productions to Sri Lanka's television sector. Ajitha Kadirgama, a popular English presenter in 1980s, recalled her memories during the golden era of Rupavahini.
Sangeeta is a presentation of the Sri Lanka
Western
Foundation.
music productions as well as many presentational programs were introduced by Rupavahini since its beginning in 1982. Ajitha Kadirgama, a key TV figure at that time, as she contributed in the capacity of a presenter, producer and a news reporter as well.
Should produce a lot of runs, but which has a tradition, a heritage for getting slower and slower as the game progresses.
It's hard to believe it's been 40 years since the birth of Rupavahini. I was one of the lucky ones. I joined in August 1982 as a production assistant in the Western Music Unit, and then in 1984 I moved to the newsroom as a producer, presenter and interviewer. Those were the glory years, and we were the pioneers. We were so blessed to have been given this gift of a television station by the Japanese with the latest technology and equipment. But we grew so fast that it soon became difficult to get a camera or to get editing time to do our productions. And so everything was always a struggle and a rush. Having said that, though, those were the years of tremendous creativity, pushing the boundaries. We saw the birth of the teledrama, we saw dubbing and animation, sports coverage, of course news coverage, everything happening extremely fast and keeping up with the trends around the world too. I was lucky to have been part of several pioneering productions. One of them was Savasangita. Then I was one of the presenters for Aiboang. And of course, most people probably remember me from Business Matters, which I co-presented and co-produced with my colleague Shamini Serasinghe. And one thing we did there was, I think we were the first females at Rupavahini, indeed at any local station, to wear business jackets. So we were dressing in Western style. And that was something that we set a trend for. Anyway, 40 years later, I hope everyone will take a moment to acknowledge and recognize the achievements of Rupavahini in an age where there was no internet, no cell phones, and no computers. And we achieved marvels despite all that. Happy birthday, Rupavahini.
Moving for more local stories, a program has commenced to uplift local milk production in the Northern Province. The basic objective is to double the daily milk production within 6 months. Currently, around 120,000 litres of milk is being produced in the Northern Province. The aim is to double the output to 240,000 litres in the next 6 months. Plans have also been made to provide cow's milk to the children in the Northern Province beginning from the upcoming school session. The program is being implemented by State Ministry for the Promotion of Livestock Farms, Milk and Egg Industries. This was disclosed at a media briefing held under the patronage of State Minister D.B. Herath at the Vavuniya District Secretary yesterday. A cafeteria on indigenous food items was declared open near the Udukirivela Reservoir in Verakatiya yesterday. The objective was the restaurant titled Hela Bhojanhala is to propagate the consumption of food devoid of poison. A group including Minister Chamal Rajapaksha has attended the opening event. The UWA Business Conference 2022 was conducted at a private hotel in Badulla yesterday. It was organized by the Association for the Development of Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises of the UWA province with the participation of Minister Bimal Veeravancha. A new production display has also taken place. Road development activities in the particular district have also been expedited under the program to construct 100 kilometers of road in the district. More than 500 roads in Ondachimadam will be developed with the concrete and carpeting. The work is being carried out according to a request by State Minister Sadasivam Vilayendran.
The Ala tourism zone is filled with tourists these days. As a result, it has been reported that the income of those engaged in employment relating to the tourism industry have gone up. The Ministry of Tourism says presently around 100,000 tourists are arriving in the island in a month. It is believed that this number would reach 200,000 shortly. More than 50,000 tourists have visited Sri Lanka since the beginning of this month. The airport sources report that the daily tourist numbers is closer to reach 5,000. One of the enchanting travel destinations of such tourists is Ala Tourist Zone. This area has been subjected to strong attraction for foreign tourists, especially due to its significant geological differences and beautiful waterfalls. The cafeterias in the Ala town were filled with capacity.
Sri Lanka is such an incredible country. It's my first time here. It's a country that I've always wanted to come and travel around, and it is absolutely beautiful. Firstly, the people are so kind, they're so generous, they're so welcoming. It's a pleasure to travel around. The food's delicious, and then the sights and attractions themselves, they're amazing. So yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here in Sri Lanka.
This is my first time in Sri Lanka. We're actually here on our honeymoon, but we love travelling, and Sri Lanka has been top of our list for a very, very long time. So far we've been to Negombo, then we went to Sigiriya, and we climbed all of the rocks, which was incredible. We're currently in Ella, and we've loved hiking to Little Adams Peak today, which was just like so beautiful. And in the next few days, we're going to Udu all the way, and then down to the coast in Marissa to finish our trip.
And here are some more news items in brief. A website on marketing in the northwestern province. 4 suspects taken into custody over the killing of a police constable and assaulting one of his brother have been placed under detection till the 4th of next month. The incident has taken place in the Vitarandeniya Teldigama in Tangol. The order has been delivered by Acting Magistrate Tangol Ranjit Gunasekara. A website on marketing in the northwestern province by the name Nadiviz was unveiled yesterday. Secretary to the State Minister of Rural Industrial Promotion, Cane, Brass, Clay and Furniture, Vijit Bandara, and Kurunagala District Secretary R.M.S. Ratnayaka have also participated in the event. The objective of the website is to introduce the skilled entrepreneurs in the Narambala Divisional Secretariat Division and to allow them to enter the local and foreign competitive market. Passing out parade of another batch of 13 officials who have successfully completed the following Sri Lanka Army Commando course has taken place at the Uwe Kuda Oe Commando Regiment Training School in Vallavai today. The chief guest on this occasion was Chief of the Defence Staff Army Commander General Shavendra Silva. Officers who have excelled in their duties were felicitated on this occasion. A concert of commando soldiers was also held.
The university community is a significant group in the society engaged in struggles amidst the social challenges and global COVID pandemic. They are involved in extremely tiring academic activities amidst disturbances. For them, the poem, a song and music is a spiritual medicine. The Arts Council of Colombo University, upon realization of this fact, has organized a special musical competition for university students. The final round of the competition, titled Sarasavi Miasia, was held at the New Arts Gallery of University under the leadership of Vice-Chancellor Chandrika N. Vijayaratna. 80 students from 8 faculties of the universities have been chosen for the first round. A veteran board of judges have selected the winners of the competition conducted in both Sinhala and Tamil medium. Dinul Fernando has won the first place and Kalin Athikorala was the second position. The third place was being clinched by Sampath Chanuka.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do us tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.